Have you ever just stopped and thought, how do we even keep track of all of human history? In this explainer, we're going to break down the surprisingly simple rules we use to organize the past. It's basically the framework for everything that's ever happened, so let's get right into it.
It all starts with a question that, let's be honest, trips up pretty much everyone. If the year is 2000-something, why do we call it the 21st century? It just feels wrong, doesn't it? Well, stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll not only know the answer, you'll get the simple logic behind all of historical time.
So first up, organizing the past. Before we can make any sense of history, we have to agree on how we're going to measure it.
I mean, think about it. History is this huge, messy story. To understand it, we need a system, right? A way to put events in order to see how one thing led to another. Without that basic timeline, figuring out cause and effect would be, well, pretty much impossible. This is how we make sense of all that chaos.
Our most basic tool is, of course, the calendar. The one most of us use, the Gregorian calendar, is awesome for organizing our day-to-day lives. But when we start talking about huge spans of time, we're going to need a bigger tool.
And that bigger tool is what we call an era. An era is just a really long period of time that kicks off from one single important starting point. You can think of it as year one, the official starting line, where a whole civilization begins its count. Okay, so this brings us to the system you've probably seen a million times, the Common Era system. Let's talk about those labels, BC, AD, and all that we use to find our way around that giant timeline.
This right here clears up a ton of confusion. So the old school system used BC for before Christ and AD, which is Latin for Anno Domini, or in the year of the Lord. The modern, more neutral terms are BCE for before Common Era and CE for Common Era. But, and this is the key part, they mean the exact same thing. They refer to the exact same years.
Yep, the most crucial point is this. The numbers are identical. 500 BC is the exact same year as 500 BCE. 2024 AD is the same as 2024 CE. The timeline, the numbers, the history, none of that changed. We just updated the names to be a bit more universal.
And now, we get to the most important rule of them all. This is the key that unlocks our whole century problem. You ready? In this entire system, there is no year zero. Seriously, when the system was created way back in the 6th century, the concept of zero just wasn't really a thing in Europe. So the count went straight from 1 BC to 1 AD. And that one little detail changes absolutely everything. And this shows you exactly what that looks like. The calendar is ticking down in BCE 3, 2, until it hits the year 1 BCE. What's the very next year? It's not 0, it's year 1 CE. It jumps directly from one side to the other. Remember that jump. It's the whole secret.
All right, we've laid the groundwork. Now let's put these rules into action and finally solve that mystery of the 21st century.
Okay, here's the simple trick. To figure out the century of any year, you just look at the first two digits, and you add 1. That's it. That's the entire rule.
Let's actually walk through this. So why does this work? It's because of that no year zero rule. The first century wasn't the years 0 to 99, it was the years 1 to 100. So every century is kind of shifted over by 1. That's why the century number is always 1 higher. Take the year 450. You see the 4, you add 1, you get the 5th century. Easy. For 1865, you see the 18, add 1, it's the 19th century. And for our original question, 2024, take the 20, add 1, and there it is, the 21st century. See? It works every time.
And hey, the same logic applies to other time chunks. A decade is 10 years, a century is 100, a millennium is 1,000 years. And because of that same no year zero rule, the first millennium ran from year 1 to year 1000. The second one went from 1001 to 2000, which means, you guessed it, we are currently living in the third millennium.
Okay, last section. Let's talk about how timelines actually flow. Understanding which way time is moving is, kind of critical to reading history the right way.
The Common Era, or CE, timeline is the easy one. The numbers just get bigger as time moves forward, exactly like we experience it. Year 1, then 500, then 1500, all the way to today. Simple enough, right?
But here's the part that feels a little weird at first. The BCE timeline counts backward. The numbers actually get smaller as you get closer to that big starting line at year 1.
So an event in 500 BCE happened before an event in 100 BCE. It's really just a big countdown to the main event.
It's also super important to remember that this BCE-CE system is just one way of doing things. While it's become the global standard for science and business, lots of other calendars are still very much in use. The Islamic calendar, for example, starts its count from the year we'd call 622 CE. The Jewish calendar's year 1 is way back in what we'd call 3761 BCE. Each system just reflects a different starting line for counting history.
So let's just boil it all down. What are the key takeaways? Number 1, there is no year 0. That's the big one. Because of that, the first century began in year 1. Number 2, BCE counts backward, like a countdown, and CE counts forward. And finally, your handy shortcut. To find the century, just take the first 2 digits of the year and add 1.
So there you go. Now you've got the tools to read the map of history. The next time you see a date, you'll know exactly where it fits in the grand scheme of things. So my question to you is, now that you know these simple rules, how does it change the way you look at the vast, sprawling timeline of our past?